hours. My screens are frozen right now. I'm told that we're going live, but I'm watching nothing. So you guys might have to tell me what's going on. I'm sorry, fellas. I've been here from the jump, and I got to tell you, it's been about 3 hours. I even got here a little early, but I'm locked up. I got Ben Askren on a still shot. He looks like he's in the ring. I see Stitch Duran putting something on him. I got Whittaker on the other screen, so I'm setting the stage for you guys. We got the Whittaker-Gastelum fight. We're going to have an emphasis on Paul and Askren. Now, let me turn to Vince. You know we're frozen. We're frozen, but I think Vince knows how to fix it. I got a mouse going around the screen, and let's take it to live because I'm late. All right, we got Whittaker on the other side. I think those announcements are probably done. I got to play a little catch-up here. Whittaker and Kelvin, I mean, what do you make from a guy walking to the ring, right? I mean, what in the hell can you actually make of that? We're historically looking. You could go back and go, I told you so. Well, not a whole lot, but I find myself trying to nonetheless. When I see Kelvin Gastelum walk into the ring to take on Robert Whittaker, and I see him bouncing, and I see him jumping, and I see him get to the check-in center where they put the Vaseline on, and he forgets to do it and tries to get in the ring, and they got to grab him and pull him back because he's so amped up to get in there, says something. What the hell does it say? It says something. Says the guy wants to go. Now, does wanting to go help you in a fight? And it's between those boys. That's about to get going, but it was one takeaway I have from the walkout. Whittaker, meanwhile, nice and stoic, nice and calm. Same as he always does. Kelvin, a little more amped up than usual. I don't like to see a guy more excited than usual, I must tell you. You'll have parents, you'll have coaches that don't know a lot about sports, particularly when you're youthful, say, get psyched up. They'll tell you that. Getting psyched up isn't real. Getting psyched out is very real. And I'm seeing Kelvin pretty psyched up right now. I bring that to you because we got 25 minutes here. These boys are going to need to let it breathe. The other side of the coin. Kelvin is very explosive. A lot faster than he gets credit for. But if you watch a lot of the punches that Kelvin's lands, they are foul. He's touching Robert Whittaker right now just a little bit. Whittaker's retreating. Kelvin got his respect somewhere in there. Whittaker doing a good job with range, throwing kicks. Kelvin throws a kick. Whittaker connects. We got a fist fight on our hands here. Surprisingly, Whittaker's backing up, and I must tell you that's a surprise for me because Whittaker is so good with the kickboxing. I would think on their feet, he wouldn't feel that he needs to run. In fairness, if the kickboxer doesn't keep distance, he's going to get taken down, and maybe that's something that Bobby Knuckles is being respectful of. I got to tell you guys, if you've been watching Triller, I'm sorry. I didn't tell you to watch Triller, guys. Don't put that one on me. I told you to be over here for the YouTube, for the main event. I'll watch it for you. What a crappy show. Oh, my goodness. What a crappy show. And what is Oscar on? Like, that's the day-old question. What happens when you mix uppers and downers and go on live TV? Whatever that – Oscar de la Hoya. That's the answer to the question. And he lost his vocabulary. He's so intoxicated right now. He's lost his vocabulary, and every other word he was saying baby. He was saying baby like Eddie Murphy takes to the F word. Does that mean anything to you comedy fans? Where it's every other word you can, hey, it's enough. Eddie, we got it. We got it. You use profanity, baby. I mean, Oscar, baby, he couldn't quit saying baby, baby. It was like every word, baby. He was talking about his fight, baby. He's going to fight in June, baby. Maybe even maybe, baby. And he didn't care who it was, baby. I mean, he just kept like, Oscar, man, this isn't even coherent. This is incoherent nonsense. Robert Whittaker has a takedown. Didn't see that coming. Robert Whittaker's been spending a lot of time on the ground with Craig Jones. How true that is for an accurate statement, I don't know. I went to Australia to be a commentator for ESPN for Gastelum versus Whittaker the first time that it was booked. And Craig Jones was a big part of that story. He was at the open workouts. He was in the training sessions. If you guys don't know who Craig Jones is, he's one of the top grapplers alive. He is the top grappler alive that isn't named Mason Fowler. So now that I see Whittaker on top and I see him using some pressure here, I think he's caught Kelvin off guard. Kelvin is not scrambling. He's Kevin Holland it right now. He's not getting an underhook. He's not looking to get his hip down. He's not looking to get up. I don't suggest for you anything other than Kelvin got caught off guard. He wasn't thinking he was going to be in this position. I must admit, I never thought we were going to be in this position. I don't know if I've seen Robert Whittaker take anybody down before. And by the way, he's heavy on top. Heavy on top, you're talking about a pressure, about your shoulder being on top of the guy. You're talking about know where to turn a guy's chin. That's what makes you feel heavy. That's what makes your 185 pounds at Whittaker weight in at feel like 225 pounds. Mackenzie Dern's father, they call him Megaton. They call him Megaton because he weighed 170 pounds, but he felt like a megaton when he was on top of you. So there's ways to feel heavy. Whittaker is fighting very heavy. He's got Kelvin pinned down here. I've been held in this position before, and it's not that I didn't know how to get up. It's not a lot of damage happening to me. What's the point of getting up? And I can assure you I won't be here again. At least that is the mindset, and I can see it on Kelvin's face. That's what Kelvin's thinking. Got surprised. It's going to take a lot to get up. Whittaker on top of me. He's not doing anything. How bad do I even want to get up? They're probably going to finish the round in that position. We got 45 seconds left. But, guys, the emphasis is on the other side of the ring, which is a world-class athlete and Ben Askren about to take on a world-class jackass in Jake Paul. I'll call it straight. I'll only say what I see, but there's no sense in hiding my biasness. I got a relationship with Kelvin. I got one with Askren. All right, here we come. Now, I'll tell you guys this. We don't know how this fight's going to go unless Ben wins the first minute. If Ben Askren wins the first minute of this fight, there's nothing to see here because the worst minute of this fight for Ben is going to be the first. In fact, the worst round of this fight, okay, Ben just clobbered him. Ben just clobbered this nerd as I was talking to you. So if Ben wins any part of the first round or even keeps it competitive, Ben's going to win this fight. But if Ben can take charge of the very first minute, we still got about 30 seconds left in it. Just not going to be a lot to see. Ben's filling him out. Ben's pressuring, and this is what Ben needs to do. The nerd threw a haymaker. Quite frankly, Ben didn't even defend it all that beautifully, but he did get out of the way. And you have to wonder what the nerd has to do tonight. Like, the nerd doesn't have to be good at boxing or even better at boxing. He just has to be good at being 24 years old. I mean, that's what history would say. History would say all Paul has to do well tonight is be 24 years old. Taking on a 36-year-old who just came off of hip surgery and a retirement. I mean, right, in all fairness, I'd like to see Ben pressuring just a little bit more. Paul digs to the body. That one actually landed. Askren, don't talk to the referee. Askren's talking to the referee. Don't talk to him. It's not how boxing works. They never listen to the referee in boxing. Ben, don't be the first guy that comes over and starts listening to the referee. Paul's finding a bit of a body shot, a bit of a straight body shot that he's throwing very well. He's turning it over well. He's getting himself out of the way, and he's keeping range. Meanwhile, on the other side of the tracks, we got round 2 starting. Ben Askren is down and possibly out. We'll see how this goes, but that was one heck of a big shot that he just ate. All predicated on the body shot. All predicated on Paul landing these body shots. So what happens when you land a couple of body shots is you can change elevation to make your opponent respect the body shot. Then you just come up, boom, hit him right in the head. That's what happened. This fight is over. Ben Askren has lost the fight in roughly 90 seconds. So the world-class nerd beat the world-class athlete. Chael's eating his words. I know what you guys are going to say when you see this fight, too. You're going to say it was fixed. I don't think that was a fixed fight. That looked like a very good right hand to me that was set up simply. If you guys are a couple of jabs, then you change elevation, you go to the body. When you change elevation and go to the body, if you use form correctly, and the nerd's form was great, you have a lot of distance. It's amazing. A straight can cover more ground than a leg kick. So what does that do? Well, it just protects you. You've now changed elevation, but you're also so far out of the way. For a good body shot, I don't see a lot of good body shots. That was a very good straight body shot, and the nerd threw 2 of them. So the next time he changed elevation, Ben dropped his hands. He thought he was going to get hit in the gut. Stood up, boom, came right over the top. Meanwhile, back at the farm, Gastelum's back on his feet. Whittaker doing a good job with this range, guys. I gave Whittaker a hard time a moment ago. I said that I was surprised he was keeping range, being such a good kickboxer. But in hindsight, I see what he's doing now. He wants this space. He doesn't want to fight in close. He doesn't want to clinch. They relock up. Whittaker gets the double underhooks, drags him down. Kelvin popping to his feet now. Kelvin's now been 2 takedowns in the fight. Both went against Gastelum. I don't think any of you would have betted or predicted it that way. But I also don't think that Gastelum or Whittaker would have predicted it that way. Nobody seemed more surprised at that takedown than Whittaker. Kelvin popped right back up. Kelvin's coming after him. Whittaker's getting out of the way just by a hair. You guys ever watch Matt Mitrione fight? Matt Mitrione has in the sport what we call good eyes. Oh, that guy's got good eyes. Mitrione will do a pull. He'll pull out of the way without moving his feet or his body. He'll just pull his head, and punches, knockout punches from heavyweights will miss him by a half an inch, a quarter inch. Mitrione will go this way, boom, knockout punch will go right back. But Mitrione just knows where he is. Bobby Knuckles is doing that right now. I got to tell you, I'm really glad that we have a conversation changer, because on the other side of the screen, I'm still seeing the celebration, which is just insane, right? It's like this insane celebration in front of a crowd of, I believe, nobody. I'm not sure. Maybe it's just poorly attended event. The production, it was painful. I don't like to see Ben Askren lose, but boy, am I happy that that event is over. It was so bad. Okay. The worst fighter of the night, by the way, is the guy that beat Frank Mir. Worst fighter of the night was not Frank Mir, surprisingly, even though he lost every minute in every round. The worst guy was the guy that beat him. That guy could not do anything. Frank couldn't move. He was 70 pounds too big. He was 12 pounds bigger for his highest MMA fight, just by example. He just couldn't move. And this guy still barely got, I mean, in all fairness, he barely got past him. He hit him with everything he had. Almost nothing happened. All right, I'm seeing some in the comment section. They're calling the Askren fight a fix, a work. They're saying the referee stopped it too early. I can't agree. That's not what I saw. Paul tricked him. Paul clipped him. I don't think the Ben's legs look great. I mean, they didn't look great when he was on his feet. I think I saw what the referee saw. I don't think that was a fix, and I don't think that was an early stoppage. All right. Gastelum coming on with some punches. Whittaker comes up top with a kick. These guys are on their feet. Whittaker does a great job of changing things up. I'm watching him distract Kelvin with low kicks. Boom, just to bring one upstairs. I know that sounds simple. I know you guys hear that. Go downstairs, then come upstairs, go to the head, and then dig to the body. I know that you hear that. I'm sharing with you. It's actually hard to do, and you don't see a lot of it. You see it from the good guys. You see it from the main eventers. You see it from the former world champions in Whittaker, but it is something that you always want to deserve. This game, I touch you, you don't touch me. I make you think I'm going to do this because I'm really going to do that. It's a game of distraction. All right, they're clinched up against the fence here. We got 20 seconds left in the second round. Kelvin is pressuring this position. Whittaker with these double underhooks again. This is where Whittaker scored earlier, scored that takedown. All right, Kelvin gets out. Much closer round, much harder round to judge the second round than the first. The first was just about control, but all that control was Whittaker's. Harder judge to round to judge, but again, Whittaker. All right, the celebration. The celebration for the nerd is continuing. And I got to tell you, you got to stay in character, right? If you're working the audience, you can't break kayfabe. You must stay with it. Now the nerd has a belt they're holding up behind him. Like the state of boxing and what they won't do to now this, you got to see this belt. It says Fight Club. That belt, I buy belts, right? For Submission Underground, I buy belts. This belt that they just put around Paul's waist is roughly $103 online, roughly. And I'm okay with that. I like the show. They brought a $10 million show. They brought a $103 belt. I don't have a huge problem. I'm just sharing with you guys, like the state of boxing. If you have a main event, you can put a belt up for anything you want. There's nothing that would stop you. You can give out medals, you can give out a trophy, or you can bring out a belt and try to fool the world. Oscar De La Hoya is doing it right now. He's trying to fight Eddie Alvarez. He's not thinking about Eddie Alvarez. He's thinking about a poster that says De La Hoya versus Alvarez, hoping people think it's Canelo and buy the show. I mean, right? Okay. Round number 3. Two guys that aren't nerds, Gastelum and Whittaker. Gastelum's throwing some heat on his feet, man. He's special. Because it makes you wonder just how damn good is he in the kickboxing. Just how damn good is he that he could not only connect, but knock out Robert Whittaker twice in 7 minutes. Just remember, Whittaker was saved by the bell. He was done. Bell saved him going to second round. A lot of sign he gets rid of him, but all stand-up, Adesanya was not having the problem that Kelvin is having, which is with connecting. Adesanya was connecting. Boom, Whittaker with a jab to the body, kick on the opposite side of the head. Carlos Condit used to do a move like that. Kelvin Gastelum says, I like that idea. Throws a fist to the head, kicks Whittaker upside the dome. Boy, these guys are really in a shootout now. Kelvin is trying to knock him out. A lot of times when a guy does that, right, it's the old rope-a-dope. You'll punch yourself out. Kelvin's bringing some heat. He's not backing down. Whittaker being smart. Whittaker's not getting into a brawl. He's keeping his distance. Boom, boom. Counter punch. Get out of the way. Name of the game. I hit you and you don't hit me. All right. Meanwhile, on Channel Nerd, they've got, I don't even know how many announcers they've got. They're all terrible, and they have a row of them. I would not work with those guys. They asked me to work with them. I won't work with those guys because I am a professional. These guys are drunks and drug addicts that are doing it on stage. I think that's weird. What was that cranky old man that always did boxing, but he would get drunk during the show, and then he tried to fight Floyd Mayweather one time? I'm trying to think of this guy's name, but I don't agree with that, right? I just don't like it. I still like a little bit of the sportsmanship. I like a little bit of the class. I like to think that the kids are watching and aspiring. And I'm not a prude on those things. I mean, I'm not a prude on the athlete having some edge, but you got a drunk commentating team, and whatever Oscar was. Oscar for sure was drunk. I just don't know what else. Kind of go, what are we doing here? Kelvin's still throwing it. Robert Whittaker. Oh, guys. I mean, this is movement. This is understanding range. You'll hear announcers a lot of time talk about range. Well, he's got to stay on the outside, and this guy's got to get inside. You'll hear these breakdowns. They're lazy breakdowns done by poor announcers, in all fairness, because it's very rare that you see a guy that understands range. What Robert Whittaker is doing right now in keeping this distance and keeping that range, it's more than just a word. This is a tactic. This takes years and years of practice. This takes a great understanding of the sport and listening to your coaches. There's a thing of beauty the way Whittaker does it. And Kelvin's disrupting the whole thing. Kelvin's changing rhythm and getting inside. Kelvin's landing some shots. The reason I'm giving Whittaker so much credit is Kelvin is throwing knockout power. He's just missing. He's missing by a half an inch. He's missing by a quarter of an inch. All right, Kelvin to the clinch. This time, Kelvin clinching and looking for underhooks himself. That was the problem in the other two. They clinched up, right? Clinched up means you're kind of chest to chest. But Whittaker got the underhooks. Whoever's inside is controlling that position. So this time they got chest to chest. Whoa, Kelvin instantly went inside. He didn't want Whittaker to get there. They broke the action. There was good punch there by both men. Kelvin started that party with a jab. Whittaker finished it with a cross. Both to the nose of their opponent. Whittaker with another jab, followed by a head kick. Kelvin didn't answer for that one. Kelvin starting to dig in, rips to the body. Whittaker with a jab right to the forehead. Kelvin answers with a kick to the knee. Whittaker answers with a kick to the face. These guys are brawling. We got 31 seconds here. Left in round 3, back to their feet. They touch the canvas for a minute. They pop right back up. It's very interesting because Kelvin is marching forward. That's good. In boxing, you'd get no credit, right? Whether it's Sugar Ray Robinson or Floyd Mayweather, you can run backwards. You don't have to go forward in either sport, boxing or MMA. But in boxing, guys that go backwards, it's no surprise, right? If two guys go and do what Floyd Mayweather does, you spend a night watching guys run away from each other. In MMA, it's a little bit more rare. It's a little bit more rare because you talk about ring control. Ultimately, as you go through the list of things, you start with damage, and as you go through the list of things that judges are looking for, ultimately, or finally, you will get down to cage control. So a guy that's running away generally isn't winning the fight. Whittaker's running away, winning the fight, which comes back to the point I was trying to make to you guys. I bet he understands range. Whittaker's ability to understand where he's at, understand how to keep that distance. And the 2 times they got close, he got all the way close with those underhooks. Very impressive. It's not a wonder to see why this guy's the world champion. And it's tough to watch this, right? Whittaker's up by 3, but Kelvin's throwing heat looking to knock him out. So this fight is far from over. It's very far from over. However, it's very tough, at least in my shoes, to be watching this fight and not thinking, who would I rather see against Vettori? Because figuring out the winner of this fight or Vettori, who's better for Adesanya, I'm not sure we're going to get that answer, guys. And you know what else? I think we're looking in the wrong direction. I'm not sure we're going to need that answer. I think it is more likely than for the winner of this fight to fight it out with Vettori for public opinion and then draw on to Adesanya. I think it's more likely that Vettori and the winner of this fight get it on and Adesanya just hangs out for a little bit. See how that all goes. All right, round 4 is underway. These guys are just back to trading again. Good combinations here by Whittaker. Kelvin staying a little bit busy. Kelvin with a 1-2. Both of them missed. Whittaker, when he comes in, I never hit you once, right? If I can touch you once, I can touch you twice. If I can touch you twice, I can touch you a third time. If I can touch you 3 times, I can land a kick on the way out. I mean, that's the kind of mentality that the great ones have. And that's the mentality that Robert Whittaker is having tonight. Frankly, Kelvin has that same mindset. He's just not quite having the luck finding his target, right? I touch you, you don't touch me. You talk about fighting all day. Bring in your saggy pants and your gold teeth and your 8th grade education. At the end of the day, it's I touch you and you don't touch me. We can talk about distance and inside and body work, and we can throw all these terms out. I touch you and you don't touch me. Clayton Hires 101. Robert Whittaker. I'm so impressed with how he's controlling the range. And I've sparred with Kelvin a lot of times, but I've seen all of his fights. I'll just tell you, it's a hard thing to do with Kelvin. I've never seen anybody else able to do it. That includes Adesanya. I've never seen anybody able to keep the fight where they want it. Kelvin's adapting. He's figuring this out. But time's ticking, right? 3 minutes, 30 seconds left in the first of the championship rounds. Kelvin's trying to give Whittaker a look now. He squatted down a little bit. He's trying to give him a look. And Whittaker took the bait. He threw a kick. Kelvin was out of the way, but there wasn't a follow. Kelvin got the reaction he was hoping for, but didn't react off of that. Whittaker steps outside, throws a straight right down the middle. Oh, Whittaker with a double jab and an uppercut. Kelvin's mixing it up. Kelvin's doing great. I feel as though my commentary, and I'm reading a couple of comments here. I'm commentary saying I'm being hard on Kelvin. That could be true on accident. That could be true. This is actually a very competitive contest. But guys, who are we kidding? We're in the 4th round. First 3 have already been done. They went to Whittaker. First half of the 4th round has also gone to Whittaker. Come on. It's just what we're seeing. Kelvin's still walking him down. Here we are halfway left in the 4th round. It looks just like the 3rd, the 2nd, and the 1st, which is Kelvin coming forward, Whittaker backing up. Kelvin missing more punches than he lands, and Whittaker sticking him with 1 or 2. And this is rinse and repeat. Oh, Kelvin's throwing some heat. Okay, Whittaker steps in, lands a cross, followed by a head kick. Kelvin ate them both. Kelvin is dipping just a little bit to take that knockout power off of these, but Kelvin is showing some heart tonight. This is a fight. Kelvin steps in with a cross, connects. I heard from Marvin. I heard from Vettori a couple of days ago, and he was dead set. He was locked on Adesanya. He was not ready to accept that perhaps there's going to be one more. But I would like to hear from him right now. So, Vettori, if you're watching this, call in. I'm going to put you on speaker. Everybody's going to hear you. But if you're watching, I would be curious your take here, because it looks as though, I mean, we've had a stoppage here. Oh, Whittaker with another 2 of his best shots of the entire contest. Got 1:07 left in the 4th round. Whittaker's starting to come on a little bit. Okay, Whittaker looking for a takedown. Kelvin stops him. Kelvin was like an oak, like shooting into an oak tree. He was ready that time. All right, KG in on a takedown. Let's see where this goes. Whittaker's down. Whittaker's down. Whittaker's back up. Oh, my goodness. You know, the preparation that Whittaker did for all 10 rounds that he did with Yoel Romero, I swear to goodness it changed his career. Whittaker should be very proud of his ability to stop takedowns and get up off the bottom, and his coaches should be very proud because they showed him perfect technique. You get taken down, you take a straight arm on the side of a guy's head and then lock your hand out like the Heisman. Remember, that Heisman trophy where he's blocking, where he's running, but he's doing a straight arm. In football, will keep a guy away. In fighting, it'll keep a guy away. Now, you can't bring your arm in like this. You bring that arm in, you straighten it out. You scoot the other way. It's exactly what Whittaker did. It's a very basic technique, but you'd be stunned how many, even of the elites, can't do it. Whittaker just did it. And he did the same thing to Yoel Romero, who happened to have a gold medal from the World Wrestling Championships. A lot of work there by KG. I bet you, we're going into the 5th round. I feel very confident in telling you right now, KG will not go for another takedown. The squeeze isn't worth the juice. And I say this as a wrestler, but if you take somebody down, but you need a couple of seconds. You need a couple of good deep breaths, or that takedown and that energy exerted is not worth it. It's one of those positions. Wow. It's a good fight, guys. I got to tell you, this is a good fight, and I'm a little bit bummed. I was not expecting the nerd to beat Askren, but in all fairness, I did say for you guys, in all fairness to me, who's on one hell of a streak of calling these things wrong. Don't forget tonight, because I haven't. I took Askren and I took Kelvin. I'm down in Askren already, and I'm down 0 to 4 rounds in the Kelvin prediction. So the streak continues, right? Chael's fire. Chael's straight fire. Now, it might be the booby prize, but it's still my prize all the same. But I will tell you, it depresses me a little bit. However, Kelvin understands the score. Kelvin knows he's down by 4. Kelvin's coming at him. Whittaker's got nowhere to go. Whittaker's up against the fence. Keep him there, KG. Keep him there, you turkey. Don't let him off. Don't let him off. You worked hard to get him there. Keep him there. Whittaker's fighting out right. Whittaker's an animal. You put an animal into a corner, he's coming out fighting. He's got no other choice. It's exactly what Whittaker's good. Whittaker's good. It's tough to see this and not instantly think of Adesanya. Whittaker on a takedown. See, these takedowns are important, though, guys. I hope that you're storing these away. Whittaker's gone for 4 takedowns. I don't believe he's ever gone for a takedown in his life. He's gotten 2 of them. Why is that relevant? Because if Whittaker's going to fight Adesanya again, what is it that we, the audience, should believe is going to be different? Well, we're seeing it right now. Takedowns. Whittaker has added takedowns to his game. He needs more of them. Adesanya's at home watching. He needs more of them. Keep the champ guessing. Don't let him break this footage down and know what he's going to see. Keep him guessing. I must tell you, I did say one thing, though, as it pertained to Askren and the nerd, which was all Paul has to do. Paul doesn't have to be better at boxing. Paul has to be good at being 24 years old. That's the only thing he has to do against a 36-year-old retired guy who just came off hip surgery. In all fairness, now, I didn't want to accept that reality, but I knew it was one, and I did say it for you guys ahead of time. It turns out the nerd's pretty good at being 24. All right. KG's coming across. KG just dropped down and dug to the body. He's landed the shot a couple times. Whittaker comes back with a jab, snaps Kelvin's head back. We got 3 minutes to go here, which means Team KG over here, of which I got to admit, I am. Okay, I am. Well, I got to admit. I'm proud to admit, but we're down 4 rounds in 2 minutes of the 5th. We got to have a stoppage. And Kelvin's not going to get that on the ground, no matter what submission he's got up his sleeve. Oh, Kelvin just drilled him. Whittaker's hurt. I don't know if Kelvin knows it. Whittaker's no longer hurt. He shook it off. Kelvin hurt Robert Whittaker and then just stared at him. Kelvin stepping back in with a jab. Whittaker's fully recovered, but boy, you want to talk about a hope spot. There was some opportunity there. Whittaker in on a takedown. Oh my goodness, Whittaker's groundwork. See, guys, this is very relevant. This is extremely relevant. These takedowns are what Dana is going to see. It is what Sean Shelby and Mick Maynard are going to see when they have a matchmaker's meeting. They're going to go, guys, this could be a different fight. I'm only sharing that with you because Adesanya is seeing it too. I don't suggest for you that Adesanya is scared of it, but he's seen it. He realizes, okay, when we prepare for this, we can't, it's not just a kickboxer. This guy's upped himself. Bobby Knuckles took a little bit of a break. He got some good fights in. But he stayed in the gym. He's focused, and he's added to his skills, and he has. Taking down Kelvin Gastelum's a hard thing to do. Whittaker's done it 3 times now. Out of 4 attempts, he's done 3 of them, but he's done it 2 different ways, right? Don't forget 2 body locks, but now we just finished a single. And he's tied on top, right? Whittaker's not doing a damn thing. However, when a kickboxer gets on top, he usually can't stay there. I don't care if he's doing anything or not. He's staying there, particularly, guys, if we're talking about putting him in there and can he win moments against Adesanya? Yes, I tend to believe if he can get on top of KG and keep him there, that he can go ahead and wrestle with Adesanya. Is that fair by me? Doesn't mean he can get him down. I'm saying, but I think if he gets him there, he can do a little bit of work. I mean, he's still on top. Robert Whittaker's not doing a goddamn thing, but he's still on top. So what? Right? Don't forget Whittaker's position. He's won 4 rounds. He doesn't need to win this round. He doesn't need to beat Kelvin Gastelum. He needs to beat the clock. Who cares if he's not doing anything? He's now on Kelvin's back. Referee's not going to stop this. And that's a real thing. That'll frustrate a fan. Well, he's not doing anything with it. He doesn't need to do anything with it. He doesn't need to beat Kelvin. He just needs to beat the clock. Kelvin's starting to scoot out. Kelvin does scoot out, but Whittaker keeps that pressure. I am stunned right now. I am stunned that Robert Whittaker, a world champion, is showing a skill set that I've never seen from him. I am blown away. All right, guys. Timeout. In case anybody got here early, let's just break these down real fast. And my partner, Ryan, needs me to do this. So let's start with one at a time, all right? Paul versus Askren. They come to the ring. Now, first off, this is painful. This was a painfully bad, boring television show. I'm not going to get my way. And as much as you guys hated it, we're not going to get our way. Triller's going to bring us another piece of garbage because the numbers will do so well. Askren and Paul is a massive fight. I have a YouTube page. Not only am I audited, guys, I'm publicly audited. You can look at my numbers. I can't hide them from anybody. You go and see how many views I've done. If I just say the words Ben Askren, Jake Paul, it's been shocking. They're bigger than Conor McGregor numbers. True story. They are 3 times bigger than Ronda Rousey in her heyday. I only bring that to you because I can feel it. This was a huge fight. What does that mean? That means the producer of the event and the promoter of the event is going to think he's got a great recipe instead of understanding that the nerd versus the Olympian just worked. It just worked. It wasn't because of anything you guys did. Now, I'm bringing that to you because we're all going to have to put up with these crappy shows. They're going to look at the numbers and go, oh, crap, we know exactly what we're doing. Keep on bringing in old Ice Cube and E40 and Snoop Dogg, even if they're lip singing. It's one of these things. So as we move forward with the level of ridiculousness that is boxing, you're not going to be able to dismiss it that quickly. And if you miss the fight, it was a very fast fight, but Logan Paul did one thing very well, and he did it twice. And that was he dropped down and he threw a straight, not a jab. He threw a straight to the body. He came back up. He moved around. He threw it straight to the body. Both connected. Very solid. So the third time he changed elevation, Askren, of course, thought it was coming to the body, knew that it hurt, dropped his hands. Paul just stood up, threw one straight, knocked him out cold. Other side of the tracks, in a real production, okay, in a wonderfully ran show, finally, Kelvin and Whittaker. This is unfinished business. And some of you may not remember the history of it. Maybe it was a little bit more personal to me because it was supposed to be a world championship fight for Kelvin, and we flew to Australia to do it. I was there. We flew to Australia to do this fight. Robert Whittaker got sick the day before, but it was bad. It was bad. Before you think he didn't want to do the fight, no, this was bad. He got carried out of his hotel room on a stretcher, an intestine issue. But it canceled the fight. It elevated, as a time frame for you guys to remember, it elevated Anderson Silva to Izzy Adesanya as the main event. This fight never got rebooked. Whittaker ultimately lost the title. KG went in against Adesanya, but KG and Whittaker finally got together. And you know what? Great fight. Great heart by both guys. Great conditioning by both guys. And maybe Gastelum gets a little bit more pat on the back than Whittaker does because Kelvin did accept this fight on fairly short notice. He went into the championship rounds. He looked fantastic. But if you're stuck on your feet with Robert Whittaker, you got a big problem. And everybody who's ever been stuck there that isn't named Izzy Adesanya has to agree with me. Robert Whittaker, and this better be the biggest takeaway that you guys have, because the game between Whittaker and Vettori starts now. Vettori and Whittaker are now in a fight. It's public. It's with words. It's for opinions. It's for headlines. It's to convince the leadership on the second floor at a company called the UFC located in Southern Nevada to go with them. And I'm telling you right now, the takedowns that Whittaker showed tonight shows that he's been thinking, that he's been training, that he's been planning, and that he has what it takes to make it a different fight with Adesanya. That might have been the biggest takeaway tonight, not the victory. It was that Robert Whittaker run 2 rounds, round number 1 and round number 5, with ground control. I don't think if I'd have told you before this fight that Whittaker was going to win 2 rounds with ground control, have a total of 3 takedowns on 4 attempts, but win 2 rounds, keep him there so long, not only take him down, keep him down. That's what Whittaker did. Whittaker passed guard. Whittaker was looking for mount. Whittaker went to the back, got both hooks in, kept control. He showed that time with Craig Jones, and Craig Jones, a like-minded practitioners, has really paid off. And it was something that he absorbed, but it also shows that he's a different fighter than the first time he fought Adesanya. Marvin Vettori proved that same thing. So what do we do with these guys? My prediction, Adesanya puts a straight arm out there and makes these 2 fight. He'll see the winner. That's my prediction. I don't know how interested Adesanya is in doing rematches. And if he sees a guy, I got to do a rematch, I'm only going to do one. You 2 eliminate one another. That's my guess. But before we get to that point, there's a fight. And it's between Vettori and it's between Whittaker. May the best man win.